Good Friday morning and welcome to Korea Today, brought to you live from Seoul.
President Park Geun-hye makes her multilateral summit debut in the opening session of the G20 summit, calling for closer economic cooperation and partnerships among the world's top economies.
For the first time in Korea's modern history, an incumbent lawmaker has been arrested for conspiring a rebellion. More coming up in the headlines.
And a new step toward wearable technology. Samsung unveils its Galaxy Gear. Details on InPrint.
The boy band with 9 different colors. They are in dramas, musicals, and on the K-pop stage. We sit down with Zea to catch up with the latest. And there's a cool breeze in the air these days, and what better than some spicy dishes to add an extra kick to your meal? Chef Matthew Chung takes on the heat battle on Friday, September 6, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Friday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today.
Good morning, everyone. There is a lot of buzz over Samsung's newly unveiled Galaxy Gear smartwatch. And you got to take a look at this thing. It has a touchscreen pad. It delivers emails and it takes phone calls. It comes in 6 different colors. And it runs an Android operating system that is loaded with apps. And so market watchers are saying they're confused, they're conflicting, and some are impressed, some are not, but most agree that they're not happy with the price tag.
Okay, and that price tag is at about $300 US. Now, there's been several opinions, as you mentioned. ZDNet applauded Samsung for their jumping into the forefront, but they also said that now maybe they're shedding their copycat image. Also, an article on CNN Money stated that it is the most advanced smartwatch out there on the market now, but it's far from innovative, citing some other similar products that are on the market.
But if you're not happy with this one, the word is that Apple might unveil its iWatch sometime next week.
But for now, the Galaxy Gear, it's released on the 25th of this month here in Korea and will be released in the United States early October.
We'll begin Korea Today with a look at the day's headlines.
The annual G20 Leaders Summit is underway in the Russian city of St. Petersburg. On the first day, President Park Geun-hye called for closer coordination between developed and emerging economies. And for more, we now connect to our presidential office correspondent, Jin-ju in Russia. So Jin-ju, fill us in on the latest, please.
Young President Park took part in the first session and a working dinner of the G20 Leaders Summit yesterday. The first session was about growth and the world economy, where the issue of Washington's plan to scale back its quantitative easing program topped the agenda. President Park emphasized the importance of international cooperation for joint growth, saying that no country can grow alone, as economic conditions in one country can now quickly affect another. The leaders are known to have somewhat agreed on the need to minimize the negative impacts of putting an end to stimulus measures, as a sudden exit strategy could greatly sway emerging markets due to an increase in capital outflow. One of the options to minimize the negative effects, according to a senior presidential official, could be, for example, slowing down the speed of quantitative easing tapering and instead pursuing a gradual exit of stimulus measures. Now, Korea has usually played the role of bridging the differences between developed and developing nations in the G20 summit, and it was no exception this time. President Park called on major economies to consider the hardships emerging countries will face and be more careful in making related decisions, taking into account the contributions these nations made to the world economy after the 2008 global financial crisis.
And she's also expected to deliver a speech on low growth and high unemployment on Friday, so we will keep an eye on that too. Now, on the sidelines of the event, she met with other world leaders as well. What kind of issues were discussed yesterday?
The first leader President Park met was Italian Prime Minister Enrico Letta. The two met at the Imperial Constantine Palace, which is the venue of the G20 Leaders Summit, ahead of the official opening of the global event. The meeting with the Italian leader is seen as President Park's first act of diplomacy towards Europe and came just a couple of months before her scheduled trip to the region. As you know, the presidential office of Chancellor has announced last month that she will make a visit to Britain in November. Now, during the one-on-one summit, the two leaders discussed ways to expand cooperation in economic affairs and trade based on the Korea-EU FTA and exchange views on a variety of pending issues. In particular, she asked Italy to take interest in the globalization of the inter-Korean Kazakhstan industrial complex while seeking support for her push for a trust-building process with the North. President Park also met with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and expressed her expectations for a thorough UN investigation on Syria's alleged use of chemical weapons. Now, attention has been drawn as to whether President Park will separately hold talks with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe during the summit period. And the presidential office of Chancellor has just confirmed that the two shortly met at a reception ahead of a working dinner in the evening.
But a bilateral talk between the two leaders is unlikely to take place, at least not in Russia at this point. So, Jinju, give us a rundown of what the president has laid out for her today and what is expected to come out during those talks.
Well, today the Korean president will continue on with her bilateral meetings with three more leaders: Kazakh President Nursultan Nazarbayev, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. President Park and Merkel have met 3 times before, and her summit with the German Chancellor this time around demonstrates her close friendship and strong cooperative ties. And during bilateral talks with Putin, President Park is expected to ask for support from Russia for her North Korea policy, just as she did with U.S. President Barack Obama and Chinese President Xi Jinping.
All right, thank you very much for your report, Jinju. That was our Cheongwade correspondent, Jinju, reporting from Russia. Now, a senior U.S. official says Washington's decision to intervene in Syria also comes with the intention to send a message to North Korea. The U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, Daniel Russell, who's in Seoul to discuss regional security issues, said Thursday that the use of chemical weapons by Pyongyang will not be tolerated under any circumstances. Russell's visit comes at a time when China is seeking to hold a semi-governmental meeting between the parties involved in the multilateral nuclear talks in Beijing later this month. Meanwhile, South Korea's Unification Ministry says the two Koreas agreed to restore the severed military hotline near the West Sea at 9 a.m. Friday. The agreement comes as the two Koreas are working toward resuming operations at the Kaesong Industrial Complex and 5 months after Pyongyang had cut the channel in March amid heightened inter-Korean tensions. For the first time under a constitutional government here in Korea, a sitting legislator has been arrested on charges of conspiring to overthrow the government. We are talking about leftist lawmaker Lee Seok-gi, who has been dominating the headlines for the past few days here in Korea. He's accused of conspiring to stage a revolt with a group of North Korea sympathizers, plotting to disrupt South Korean key infrastructure such as communication lines, and creating an organization benefiting North Korea called the Revolutionary Organization, or RO, which reportedly consists of 130 members. The head judge at Suwon District Court says there was a sufficient reason to believe he could have done the things he's accused of, adding the lawmaker was a flight risk and may destroy evidence if not arrested. In the second quarter, Korea's gross national income, which is often used as a gauge of the population's purchasing power, posted a 2.9% increase from the previous quarter, the fastest pace of growth recorded in 4 years. The Bank of Korea says improved trade conditions boosted by falling oil prices have played a key role. The nation's economy, in the meantime, recorded a 1.1% quarterly increase, rising above the 1% mark for the first time in more than 2 years. But experts are doubtful about a sustained recovery.
The rise in the nation's growth rate comes mostly from expanded fiscal spending in the second quarter of this year. So whether the growth pace will continue remains unknown.
Meanwhile, a survey conducted by the Korea Consumer Agency says 3.5 out of 10 Koreans feel they are part of the lower class, the highest percentage ever to be recorded. Meanwhile, 62.5% said they believe they are middle class, an 8.5 percentage point drop since 2007 when the survey was last conducted.
And happy Friday, everyone. A bit more of a diversified bunch on today's front page story. So let's go ahead and kick it off with a look at 중앙일보. Now, President Park Geun-hye's debut at the Group of 20 summit, specifically and in multilateral diplomacy in general, is the big story on Chungang, as well as our next newspaper. Here you can see her shaking hands with Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is, of course, the host of the G20 summit. Now, the caption says that the picture was taken during the welcoming ceremonies of the G20 summit and that she was the 26th person to arrive. President Park will, of course, meet with President Putin today, and she has called Russia one of Korea's most important partners when it comes to peace on the Korean peninsula and co-development in the greater Northeast region as well. And scooting right over to 동아일보 next, it highlights the meeting that is already in the can. President Park met with Italian Prime Minister Enrico Letta for the first time yesterday, and it seems she's making good on her promise to be a so-called sales president. Let's go ahead and take a look at the headline above the picture there. It reads, President Park says, Italy, please take part in Kaesong Industrial Complex. And the article goes on to expand that during the meeting, the president shared with her Italian counterpart that the two Koreas have agreed to raise the standards of the Inter-Korean Business Park to a global one and asked Italian firms' participation to reach that goal.
It's interesting that President Park Geun-hye made that pitch to the Italian Prime Minister. Talk about sales diplomacy.
On their
there,
first
right?
meeting, too.
Exactly.
Right?
Will there be other pitches, I wonder?
Well, that's a great question. And in fact, the article does go on to say that this is just the first of several pitches to come. And they see this as the president making good on her commitment to see to keep her side of the promise when it comes to international
and opening more windows of opportunities, right?
Absolutely, yes. All right, we'll leave that story there and scoot on over to our next newspaper, 경향신문, which maintains its eyes on the UPP lawmaker Lee Seok-gi's case on its front page. The headline reads, accused of conspiracy of rebellion, Lee Seok-gi detained, and the accompanying image is really quite jarring. The caption explains that he yelled out, conspiracy of rebellion charge is a fabrication, before being confined at the Suwon Detention Center last night. He will face questioning from the National Intelligence Service for the first 10 days before being transferred to the prosecution for another 20 days of questioning. All right, and scooting right over to 조선일보, you can see a similar shot there of the president with Putin, but it has a different story as its top headline, and the headline reads, Seoul Mayor Park continues free childcare program with 200 billion won or $182 million loan. And the article chronicles the strain between Seoul Mayor Park Won-soon and the ruling Saenuri Party over the source of funding for his free childcare program for parents with children aged 0 through 5. Now, the lead notes that the mayor had been calling for the state government to cough up some 370 billion won, but the ruling party responded by saying that the city government needed to revisit its budget first. And with time running out, the mayor announced in a presser yesterday that the city would take out a 200 billion won or $182 million loan to make that budgetary deadline for now, while the rest of the shortage will be earned by cutting other parts of the city budget. And finally, taking a look at our business newspaper today, Made in Business today highlights the big gadgetry announcement from Samsung made at the IFA in Berlin. And in fact, going back to the headline there, it reads, "Answer calls and snap pictures with a watch." That is, no, not the iWatch, but the smartwatch Galaxy Gear. And the paper says it will also have the added functions of voice recognition command by which you could set your alarm and check the weather. It cites a U.S. research company, BI, as saying that the smartwatch market will grow to some $9.2 billion by 2018, with an estimated 91 million pieces sold by then. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Friday. Next up are your closing numbers from Thursday's market action.
Staying on the topic of the G20 summit currently undergoing in Russia, to find out what kind of topics were discussed at the meeting on Thursday and to get some insight on President Park's diplomatic activities, we have Arirang special commentator Dr. Kim Cheol-woo joining us this morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. So this is President Park Geun-hye's debut on a multilateral platform. How will she use this opportunity? What kind of image will she want to portray? What agenda will she be after?
I'd like to describe this opportunity as a debut as K-diplomacy star, new star, Park Geun-hye.
Like a K-pop star.
K-pop is not only just a film of K-pop, just with the rising influence of Korea's economy, she can deliver her message, clear message to the international world. Not in 1 out of 20 top leaders, she's a rising star with the Korea's economic success story. Where comes that success story? Look at the Korea. The emerging countries' voices can be heard throughout the world. So I think this is a great opportunity. See, Korea is not just North Korea. Korea is the economic Korea. Right. Korea is a diplomatic decency. I think that I'd like to straight out President Park Geun-hye's top-level diplomatic excellency is the right wording for the rising UK diplomacy star Park Geun-hye.
Wow, that's some strong comments. But anyway, she is scheduled to meet with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and many are having their eyes on that. The two are known to have many in common and have close ties as well. So what will the two leaders likely talk about?
Korea's first ever female president, Park Geun-hye's symbolic nature as a divided country's leader. Look at it, Germany, East and West Germany became the new economic powers. Today's economy is not just the economy, it's diplomacy and international collaboration. G20 meeting is the diplomatic endeavor to collaborate to solve the problem. The Park Geun-hye's image as the divided country's top leader, as a collaborator and a coordinator for the bridging, linkaging capacity is a great symbolic point. So I think that they're gonna discuss a little bit about the inter-Korean relations and the peaceful unification and peace process of the Northeast Asian country. The Korea's issues, not just the Korean Peninsula's issues. She can bring up the issue to the international arena. That's the German, Merkel and President Park Geun-hye's kind of side by side will make a big impact to the world.
And you mentioned about Korea's economic strength, and given the current state of the emerging economies, about concerns about Washington's tapering of quantitative easing, how aggressive do you think President Park Geun-hye can or will be given trying to convey the Korean government's message to the world? In
that point, she will clearly convey her positioning to the advanced countries. Look at the emerging countries' contribution in the world economic crisis in 2008. So that contribution, this is the right time to consider the emerging countries is facing difficulties in the stimulus measures packages, not just advanced countries, their own policy. There's a ripple effect to the emerging countries, underdeveloped countries. So I think she clearly delivered the hardships and the agonies of the emerging countries like Turkey and Korea and all the new powerhouse in the economic sense. I think she strikes out all the creative economy and what can Korea contribute to the world economy. Korea is not just the periphery of the world economy. Korea is entering into the top core. So I think that she will clearly stress out the real essence of the collaboration side by side with the advanced countries and emerging countries.
And perhaps that's why President Park Geun-hye was invited to deliver a lead speech by Russia. So what will be some of the central points President Park will deliver in that speech?
In that speech, and she will stress out the linkaging effect of the advanced countries' maneuvers and any monetary changes, particularly monetary policies of advanced countries can have a great impact to the emerging countries again. So I think she also will point out the creative job creation is under development is one issue, but how can I make a quality job creation? So I think that she can make a clear, deliver a clear message to that point again.
And maybe emphasize how Korea was able to and still in the process of creating quality jobs as well. But we cannot deny that the Syria situation is probably dominating or overshadowing the summit. Do you think we'll see any tangible results coming out of the G20 meeting?
So we are talking only about the differences between Russia and the United States, but let's look down to the basic concept of why Syria is at this point is so top splash. The human rights issues, right? Chemical weapons should not and will not be tolerated. This is international consensus. But the verifications and evidence and all the materializing all the details, it'll make a difference. President Vladimir Putin will make this opportunity as a kind of a outperforming platform to deliver his message for their own benefits. But the thing is, we, even Korea, cannot tolerate chemical weapons usage. So I think the push and pull regarding the Syria issues, but it's very unlikely to reach a consensus in how to solve the problem. But anyhow, the United States Congress decision will make a big difference. So I think the Russian Petersburg, G20 summit is the economic agenda. Like I said, it's the diplomatic agenda also. So the Syria is on the sidelines of discussion, behind the scenes, but the big consensus is the human rights issues. So,
and whether we'll see any tangible results on the economic side.
Last point I want to miss out is that St. Petersburg is the cultural center of the Western European countries, upper Western European countries. So I think the President Park Geun-hye's cultural excellency, her decor and very elegant gestures.
Wow, you have some very positive comments today about President Park.
Yes, she's a natural-born communicator in the economy and military, and Syria is a good point, but culture is not. We should not miss it.
We should not take it for granted and not miss out for that matter. All right.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you very much, Dr. Kim Chil, for joining us and sharing your insight today.
Thank you.
And still ahead on Korea Today, they are back with a new song and have much more to offer than just songs. We sit down with the boy band Zaya to see what they've been up to and listen to some of their recent roles in dramas, entertainment shows, and musicals.
All right, let's now get a check on the weather. I hate to disagree with the Korean Meteorological Administration, but I think autumn is here. They said it'll start on September 26th, but I think it's here.
Well, it sure does seem rather chilly, especially overnight and in the morning when we do come out. We are going to be joined by Lee Da-mi, who
Let's
is in
ask Dami what she
Yangcheongu.
thinks, right? What do you think, Dami? Is autumn here?
Well, you know, Min Jung and Young, I must say that as the day progresses or the day passes, it does feel more like autumn because of the cooler temperatures. I would agree with you guys that it does feel more like autumn. Right now, I am reporting live from Saseo Lake Park because today is Resource Circulation Day or Good Recycle Day here in Korea, and it is an eco-friendly theme park. But more about the weather. This morning, it is 19 degrees Celsius. Later, our highs will be a bit cooler than yesterday. Right now, we are seeing mostly cloudy skies. The sun is nowhere to be found here in the area this morning. Now, here in the central regions, we may see signs of sporadic showers, but it will clear out by tonight. As for down south and including Jeju Island, there will be signs of precipitation, which will continue until tomorrow afternoon. Now, for the weather tomorrow here in the central regions, we will start out with mostly cloudy skies, but as the day progresses, things will start to clear out. Let's now get a check on the weather around Korea. Highs in Seoul will reach up to 25. Daejeon will be cooler at 22. Daegu, Gangneung, and Busan won't be far off at 23 and 24. Gwangju at 22, and Jeju Island will be the warmest at 26 degrees. That's all for the weather forecast. I'll be back to show you around the Saseo Lake Park.
Today is a special day designated by the Korean government in 2009 as a Good Recycle Day. It's a day to think about ways to reuse resources around us in the face of growing concerns about global warming.
The idea is try to circulate resources as much as you can so that they can be reused as energy. And so we have for this week's InStyle a way to take part in this campaign by looking at some eco-friendly items. And joining us to talk more about recycling and also reusing items is Lee-Hedy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. We are going to take a look at some of the eco products. It is not only environment friendly, but also are practical as well as stylish. Let's take a look at one clip are popular these days. With more people worried about environmental changes, the concept of being eco-friendly has become an important trend. And of course, eco-friendly is all about being good to the environment surrounding us. Eco-friendly goods come in many different types, from those made with materials that don't harm the environment to those that are less harmful when being used. And one of the areas receiving much interest from trendsetters these days is eco-fashion. Clothes and goods made with eco-friendly material are gaining more attention.
We use old plastic bottles and shred them to create the thread with it. We then weave fabric out of it and make clothes.
Dot uses fabric made from recycled plastic bottles, fibers from bamboo, and organic cotton in its clothes and puts out various environment-friendly products, leading the trend. Meanwhile, this is not only found in clothing, but also fashion accessories. The Sprout watch is made up of 80% eco-friendly material. It mainly uses corn resin and organic cotton, which are biodegradable. Also, there are watches made with cork, something you wouldn't see before. The idea of using eco-friendly goods is not a passing trend. It has penetrated many aspects of our lives. The movement expands into fields such as architecture and interior design. A good example is this product that invites nature into our homes.
It has been built so that gardens can be created in small areas. It's a mobile garden you can build up.
The magnetic pot is made of biodegradable plastic. You can put together many of the pieces just like blocks to create your ideal shape, which is why it has been praised for its practicality and smart design.
Now, this gives a whole new meaning to reusing and recycling. I remember the Korea national team, the soccer team, made headlines when they said their uniform was going to be used out of
Right.
Or made with these
plastic
used
water
plastic
bottles and soft drink bottles, and they become these T-shirts, huh? Quite amazing. Tell us.
And this fabric, such as nylon and polyester, is made of like these kind of plastic bottles. And actually, these clothes is made of 6 1.5-liter plastic bottles. So they're really good.
Because these plastic bottles they stay intact in the ground, but I would assume that these clothes are biodegradable.
Yes, that's amazing. And it looks really beautiful to it.
That's
and actually, for example, this company supplied the pro baseball team SKY Vans with green uniforms, and the coach said they love it because it's lighter and flexible, and compared to the old uniforms, it's really great.
Okay, and I did also hear a lot of athletes saying that they're very breathable as well.
Yes,
that's right, and you would think it would be rough, but it's not the case at all. It feels like cotton almost.
Yeah. Right. Now, this second set of items here are a set of watches that we see, and they look very stylish, right?
Tell us about these.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what cork line brings together, and the texture of a cork and the bamboo dial, something like that. And it is made of corn to make corn resin too.
Okay,
so using environmentally friendly materials, I would suppose.
Okay, I really like the cork over here. It has a natural material type of look, and it looks very warm. At the same time, this is made from a certain resin?
Yes, corn to make corn resin.
Okay, corn resin.
Made with corn. How interesting is that?
Yes.
And what about these calculators? What are we talking here?
This is made of bamboo, and it doesn't need any electricity. Isn't it wonderful?
Okay, they're solar powered.
Yes, it is used for solar power.
How about this? What is this?
And this is a Lexan radio. And if you can pull the handle on. And
Oh, I see. So you're charging it by turning that handle.
Yeah, turning it for charging.
Ooh, I have to tune it first, I suppose.
Yeah, you have to find the right frequency.
And you can listen to it without any batteries.
Okay, so no batteries involved. All you have to do is just turn it around.
Yeah.
There we go.
And
We have
turn
some
it.
music.
Sound
And you were
quality
telling
is
us
good.
earlier that you turn it for 2 minutes and then you can use it for 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
All right.
What's cool is that in disaster-prone areas, something that's going to work like this without any batteries and without any electricity, a radio, that might be very useful.
Yeah, you only need a solar energy.
For this,
for that, you need to wind that up, right?
Wind that up, right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I understand that the interior ideas are taking an eco-friendly feel as well.
What are we looking at here?
This is a moss table. And it doesn't need
moss table.
Yeah, moss table. It doesn't need any water because it is maintained with humidity in the air. So you don't have to water it.
You don't have to water
Yeah.
it. So it's alive, that thing inside, huh? Interesting.
Okay, so this is living moss, and you don't have to ever water it. You basically just leave it there and just make it nice to look at.
And it's good for decoration too. Look at this, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, so you can use it as a side table and put your coffee mug.
Perfect. It's really amazing how the color green can just add such a nice taste or nice look to your home.
Sure. Thank you so much for bringing all these stuff.
Okay.
Thank you. And let's make a T-shirt out of those bottles, right?
I don't know about making the T-shirt part, but I
Rain. 기분에 따라 그대가 좀 미치게 만들어 너를 사랑해 왜 대답 24시간 24 만질 수가 없어도 돼 안을 수도 없어도 돼
For this week's K Entertainment, reporter Yasna Yoon joins us, and you got a chance to meet with 9 very charming men, and I'm so jealous.
Yeah, you must have been excited.
I did. So yeah, I got to meet with one of the hottest boy bands today, Chaea, also known as 태국의 아이들. They're back with the song Ghost of the Wind, and it's been about 2.5 years since the whole group has come together to do promotion. So let's take a look at our fun little interview that we had.
They're in movies, dramas, commercials, musicals, variety shows, and even on the radio. K-pop idol group Chaea is omnipresent in their many different skill sets. The 9-member band has returned as a whole group with its song The Ghost of the Wind in almost 2.5 years.
Hey guys, we are Chaea!
The boy band has solidified its position on the K-pop scene with The Ghost of the Wind, which has become a great success.
그럼 저희가 짧게나마 불러드리죠.
그녀와 헤어질 수 없어 이건 꿈이야 너를 보내줄 수 없어 이건 꿈이야
The song has its roots in house music and expresses the frustration of a guy who can't seem to profess his love for someone he's unable to break away from. Their near to perfect dance moves in unison for the new song can't go unnoticed.
Also, we are back with Ghost of Wind, which is more like the choruses are basically like tenors. Yes. And we use a lot of orchestra strings. So yeah, if you guys love that song, if you hear that song. Great.
Meanwhile, Chaeha members are also active in many other fields such as entertainment shows, dramas, and musicals. There's also Hwang Kwang-hee, known for his funny character on many entertainment shows, Im Si-won, who is showing some true talent in musicals and through dramas, and also Kim Dong-jun, who is acting in a historical drama. The group members are able to show off their many different sides and skills to their fans.
Cool, and Kwang-hee, I know, is doing a lot of entertainment variety shows.
KBS 드라마 스페셜에 드라마를 찍고 있어요. 그 보아 선배님과 최다니엘 선배님 그리고 김지원 씨와 같이 드라마를 찍고 있는데 여러분이 재밌게 봐주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
What does that feel like, acting in a historic drama setting?
액션 배우로서 이렇게 여러분들 찾아뵀었는데 또 앞으로 더 좋은 작품으로 또 무대로 여러분들께 찾아뵐 테니까요. 여러분들 저희 제국의 아이들 또 저 동준이 많은 기대와 사랑 부탁드리겠습니다.
Especially hot these days is Park Kyung-sik, who is starring on a military experiencing entertainment show and has earned the nickname Baby Soldier. And not only that, Hyung-sik is also taking on musicals.
9월 4일 보니 앤 클라이드라는 뮤지컬로 여러분을 찾아뵐 것 같습니다. 요즘 연습 한창인데요. 여러분 많이 기대해 주시고요. 한국에서 초연인 만큼 요즘 많이 기대를 받고 있거든요. 그 기대 부응할 수 있게 열심히 하겠습니다. 여러분 많이 찾아와 주세요.
What do you guys want to venture out into besides singing?
모든 분야에서 특출난 재능을 보여줄 자신 있고요. 여러분들이 찾아주시기만 한다면 저희 제국의 아이들의 9가지 색깔을 여러분들께 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
Chaeha's popularity does not stop only in Korea. It has spilled over into Japan, China, and other countries in Asia. Earlier this year, Chaeha's unit group of 4 with Moon Junyoung, Hwang Kwang-hee, Jung Hee-chul, and Kim Tae-hon called Chaeha For You put on a debut album in Japan and is becoming an immense success. And it's not only Japan, but Singapore and China and various other countries that the boy band is active in. And with this comes some fun stories.
필리핀에 갔었는데 저도 모르게 Hello Singapore! Yeah, nice to meet you! 분위기 쏴!
How did you do that? How did you
되게 수습해? 그때 상황은 이제 동준이 눈빛으로
그럴 때는 무슨 표정으로? Do you have any memorable fans from outside, of the countries?
모든 팬들은 다 똑같은 것 같아요. 저희를 사랑해 주시는 그런 마음은 그런 건 진짜 너무나 감사드리고 그리고 또 정말 그 열정적이게 항상 이렇게 사랑을 주시니까 저희는 그 사랑을 받으면서 더욱 더 열심히 하는 것 같습니다.
지금도 이렇게 옆에서 사진도 찍어주시고
지금 옆에 보시면
They're honest and entertaining, passionate and driven. Chaeha is gaining more foothold as a leading K-pop idol group.
Is there anything that you guys would like to say to your overseas fans?
저희가 오랜만에 또 9명이서 컴백을 했는데 우리 해외 팬 여러분들이 굉장히 보고 싶어하는 그 소식을 많이 들었습니다. 네. 국내 활동이 끝나면 이제 해외 활동도 차근차근히 할 예정이니까요.
10월 3일에 제국의 아이들 첫 단독 콘서트를 열게 됩니다. 네. 열심히 준비해서 여러분들의 입맛에 맞는 그런 공연 많이 준비해 갈 테니까요. 많이 보러 와주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
The boy band has much more in store, not just in Korea, but for its fans overseas as well.
So a lot of fans in that room too. I'm sure they wanted to trade places with you.
Yeah,
Did anyone try to yank you out of that chair?
No, I was kind of scared because that window, it was like a window. It was like a folding window. It was not a wall, so it was like moths that were attracted to light. They just kept like coming up against the window, so we couldn't.
Moth fans.
Yeah, we couldn't
So
really do that.
How was it meeting them so close in person?
You know, they were really sweet, first of all, and I really liked that, you know, they weren't afraid to kind of just not be such a celebrity. Yeah, they were just really sweet.
Okay, well,
Okay, that we got.
Jolly old time interviewing these guys, right? Okay, well, when they first started, I understand that their success didn't come overnight. Zaya's most popular member was Kwangyi, and then later on it soon ensued to the rest of the crowd. Now, you see this case in a lot of Korean bands. Only one person or maybe a select few are really popular, and the rest of the bands that you don't really get to know, really. How do they balance out the popularity between these big groups?
Yeah, right. So initially it was Kwangyi and Siwan and Dongjun that were kind of more popular, I guess you can say, than the rest of the members. But members like Kwangyi did play a really big role when he was out on the entertainment shows. He would always make sure to promote his group. And also they were performing in units before, so they were promoting, you know, their whole group as a whole. Kevin also is actually a host at a radio show here at Arirang called Hotbeat. So that's another way that they can express, you know, we're here, so please look at us and be our fans and connect with their fans too. So they're using a lot of different avenues to just say, hey, we're here.
To reach out to the fans and to get to know them.
Be a part of us.
They have yet to top the music chart, so good luck to them. And you need to snap out of that
I'm kind of in like a
daze.
I'm trying to remember.
All right, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. It's 42 minutes past the hour on Korea Today, and if you think kimchi is hot, then wait till you get a taste of this or get a chance to taste it. How much spice do you think you can take? We're going to take you on a flaming hot and spicy tour this week with kimchi, octopus, chicken, and short rib dishes drenched in hot and spicy sauces. Chef Matthew Chung puts his spice buds to the test. Ooh, that was spicy.
That's just looking at that makes your mouth go watery, right? Okay, we're going to go back to our Dami, who's joining us from a lake in Seoul. So back to you, Dami.
I'm back reporting live from Chancellor Lake Park, which used to be the Shinwar water purification plant that supplied tap water, but now it has transformed into an eco-friendly park. So if you take a look around, you can still see the structure itself of the purification plant is still intact. All they did was kind of change the design so that it could change into a resting area for the people. Right now, I'm at the highlight of the Chancellor Lake Park, the Mondrian Garden. What they did was they adopted the structural method of the artist Mondrian, and they basically created the garden with harmonizing both horizontal and vertical lines. Now, these flowers and sprouts that we see here were here since the purification plant. Now, when you walk around the Chancellor Lake Park, you can see the drain pipes or the water pipes that used to be used in the purification plant. Some are used as benches and some as artwork. Now, the theme of Chancellor Lake Park is water and recycling. Now, for the past 50 years, when the Shinwar water purification plant was here, they didn't allow people or any visitors for the past 50 years, but now it is an eco-friendly theme park that is open for everyone. Now, the weather is getting better and better these days, so why not come on over with your loved ones, enjoy the beautiful weather here at the park, and it seems like a great date course as well. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
And TGI Friday, everyone, and what a Friday it is. Of course, we kick things off with the big matchup set to take place later tonight. Of course, we're talking about the Korean national football team taking on Haiti later tonight. Now, for the first time since manager Hong Myung-go took over the team, the European aces are in the lineup as he hopes to utilize their offense. That is the first time that the two nations are facing off, and not a lot is being known about each other. While Haiti isn't bringing out their full squad, Korea will be going full force in hopes to work on different offensive techniques. Meanwhile, the match will kick off 8 p.m. in Incheon. And here we go with our baseball this morning. First off, let's take a look at some Thursday night KBO action as the last place Hanwha Eagles beat the first place LG Twins 2-1 to shake things up here with the SK Wyverns avoiding the sweep against the Lotte Giants 6-3. So with that said, let's take a look at the other two games that took place last night, starting off with the Doosan Bears taking on the Kia Tigers. Of course, shifting over to the game, we go over to the top of the first inning here. Lee Young-gyu to start things off. He drives this one deep to left field. If it's fair, it's trouble, and it is out of here. A leadoff home run against Kim Sun-woo, and Kia takes an early 1-0 lead. Next play, here is Naji-won, an RBI single to left field, and Kia takes a 2-0 first inning lead. But now here comes the Doosan Bears down 2-1 in the third inning. Oh Jae-il grounds one to third. That's an infield single. And in comes Kim Jae-ho, and all of a sudden, it's a tie ball game. Fourth inning, speaking of Kim Jae-ho, here he is, an RBI single to right, and Doosan now takes the lead 3-2. Next inning, here is Oh Jae-il. Oh my gosh, no doubt about it. A two-run shot, and Doosan now takes the lead 5-2. We're not done yet. Lee Suk this time deep to left field, and here we go. Back. It is gone 6-2 Doosan. Now Doosan's bullpen superb in this game as they take this game 6-2. Your final score. And next up, the NC Dinos going for the upset against the Nexen Heroes. Second inning, Lee Sung-yar. Here's an RBI single to center field, and Nexen takes an early 1-0 lead. Stays that way till the seventh inning. Kim Jong-ho, he's going to send this one to left field, and check this out. It is dropped. And in comes Pagutim, and it's a tie ball game 1-1. We go to extra innings in this game. 11th inning, men on first and second. Kim Min-sung sneaks one past the shortstop here and into left field. This scores one runner, and it's 2-1 Nexen. Bottom of the inning, Song Seung-rak on the mound here. Mo Chang-mit, did he swing? Yes, he did. Calls the umpire, and he strikes out, and it's one down. Cho Young-won here up next, flies out to left. Two men out. Last hope here is Kang Jin-sung, but he pops out to short. Ball game over. Nexen takes this game in 11 innings, 2-1. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
A lot of people who try Korean food think that kimchi is really spicy, but there are many more spicy foods in Korea.
Right.
Joining us to talk more about spicy foods is Matthew Chung. Good morning.
Good morning. And you are right, Korea has a gigantic repertoire when it comes to spicy foods. And you know what, it was hot a few days ago, it was a little bit cooler today, and I was gonna say, right now is the time of the year for spicy foods, but so is autumn, so is winter. Any time of the year is
all year
exactly,
round.
all year round, all the time. So you know what, let's take a look at some of Korea's best spicy foods. So we're at the beautiful Cheonggyecheon, which is this canal that runs right through the middle of the city. And despite how calm it looks right now, today we're in a day of spicy food. So this calm right now belies the sort of chaos that my taste buds are going to be in. It's going to be delicious though. Let's check it out. So we're going to start things off a little bit easier with a little bit of kimchi, and so now I'm going to dig in. All right. So when you look at kimchi-jjim, it usually comes like this. And this isn't just any kimchi, it's 묵은지. It's kimchi that's been aged for a while. So it has a sourness and a tang to it when you eat it on its own. But when you cook it, it ends up developing this really delicious, complex flavor. One of the best parts of kimchi-jjim is getting this broth. You know, just with how much pork there is in there, it makes the stock really rich. But not only that, the 묵은지, the aged kimchi, it adds this flavor that regular non-aged kimchi doesn't have. And it's... So here we have two dishes. One, we have 닭볶음탕. It's a chicken-based dish. And here it's 갈비찜, which is a braised short rib, a beef short rib. So I think I'm gonna go for the poultry first, although both of them seem incredibly intimidating. Oh, that's not so hard. All right, time for the 갈비찜. This right here could be a gigantic capsaicin bomb. All right. It didn't seem so. It's good, and that's the thing, it's good, it's tasty, it's delicious. You know, the chicken is cooked well, and while it's incredibly spicy, it's also pretty well balanced as well. You know, it has, you know, a good hit of salt in there, there's a little bit of sweetness to balance it out, and then it has this meaty depth of flavor that comes from boiling that chicken. Oh man, that's really good, and it's really spicy. Whew. So we're here at 막내 낙지, and 낙지, it's a type of small octopus that's really common here in Korea, and one of the favorite ways to eat it is to stir fry it in a spicy sauce, and I've been warned that it's very spicy, so I'm just gonna try a little bit on its own. Whew. No, that's definitely spicy. No. As far as any average Korean is concerned, nothing goes better with spicy food than a bowl of steamed rice. And mix with your chopsticks, not with a spoon. It's great for spice heads, people who love to have their spice full tilt. But this way, it really does mellow it out. It opens up a lot of the flavors. And it makes it something that just about anyone can enjoy. Not just people who really love spicy foods, but believe me, still plenty spicy. All right, so this is Sincheon. It's the famous college district right by Yonsei University. And here, you know what? You're not coming here for fine dining. You're coming here for those spicy, salty foods that you crave late night. So let's see what the next spot is. This is the 불닭. Now, 불닭 literally means fire chicken, fire 닭 chicken. And it comes from the fact that it's fiery red and fiery spicy. Because it's been charred over the open flame. It feels like it's been cooked out in someone's backyard. It's got that really great smoky flavor to it. Oh, there it is. There's that spice. There's that spice. Wow. Korean cuisine, it's known for its wide ranges of soup, but it's particularly when you're having spicy food like this, it's not just a matter of taste, it's a matter of necessity. There's no way I'm going to get through this meal without having this being nu룽지. Now, it's the scorched rice that you find at the bottom of the rice bowl when you steam rice. When I was younger, I didn't get it. Now I do. It's fantastic.
mouth is watering.
Stomach okay there?
I'm getting hot flashes just thinking about just seeing that again. Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about spicy foods, I mean, Mexican food has its own spiciness, and Korean food has its own spiciness. Every country seems to have its own spiciness. Can you describe the spiciness factor with the dishes that you had and the Korean spiciness factor?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like different types of spiciness. You know, all the spiciness comes from capsaicin, but it's all the other ingredients. It's the sugar, it's the fat, it's the level of acid, you know, vinegar or lemon juice. So all of those will sort of contribute to the way a dish eats. So something that's a little bit fattier and a little bit sweeter, you know, the spiciness will be a little rounder. But you know, something that's a little bit fresher, that spice will just hit you right in the face.
I like the 매콤 달콤 with the sweetness.
Right, sweet and spicy.
I like that lingering spice that just kind of stays there and you just
I
have
don't
to
like
keep
that.
drinking water.
It feels like pain. In
So
my
I like the
mouth.
karkaran spice, the one that hits you right in the back of the throat. I think that's my favorite type of spiciness.
All right, we're out of time today. So Matthew, thank you and see you next week.
Always a pleasure.
All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Korea Today. We should have something spicy for breakfast today.
All right, sounds great. We'll start off early. And for a spicy Friday, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.